presently they're not very good. Uh, we just do not have the necessary votes to get it passed when it comes over from the House. The major objection is that it will cost too much money for the taxpayers. However, this is not the case in my opinion. I believe that if we can concentrate our efforts on the University of Texas at Dallas, as it's now known as Southwest Center for Advanced Studies, and then de-evaluate our advanced degree granting programs at the other North Texas area schools, focus our attention at one school, we can come up with quality advanced degrees at a lesser cost than now exists.
If this is approved by the legislature, the state does provide 80% of the funding required for these raises, with the local school districts, in this case, required to provide 20%. Under this present formula decided back in 1948, the smaller districts receive $30 more per pupil than the larger districts. At the same time, those smaller districts have twice, in fact more than twice as much taxable value behind each student as do the larger districts. At the same time, under this formula, they're given more professionals, 53 per 1,000 students as against 40 in our city per 1,000 students. In other words, there is not equalization. And the only way we're going to meet our program requirements as well as funding these raises is to have equalization, small to large.
What happens if the state legislature does, in fact, in spite of your protest, vote raises for the teachers and yet not vote equalization? What does this do to the District of Dallas?
Well, it's a very serious problem for Dallas. As a matter of fact, we could just barely meet these raises with the latitude we now have in our taxing structure. That's assuming we were to tax to the limit that we're now able to legally, 15 cents per $100 evaluation. We could meet this teacher raise, but we'd have no latitude for program enrichment in such areas as summer school and kindergartens. And let me add that we're in much better shape than most of the cities of the state.
What we hope to do is that our Area 4 committee, which is the committee assigned to that particular geographical area, can set up a meeting with the representatives of the property owners of the area to the immediate west of Guilford Road for the purpose of discussing the removal of the chain link fence that borders this road. Now, Mr. Adrian Henderson of the FHA has already said that there will be a passage cut through the chain link fence for pedestrian traffic through that property, which is under the jurisdiction of the FHA. And so what we hope to do is set up this meeting, and in doing so, get the people involved who can do something about the problem, and perhaps get the fence removed or taken down, or at least openings made in the fence for pedestrian, and then the city is working on the vehicular traffic.
Mr. Helm, how soon do you think something may be accomplished?
Well, I hope in the very immediate future, and by that I mean in just a matter of days, that we'll be able to get the property owners together. There are only 3 really involved, and set up an immediate meeting with them.
I think so. I think there's less scandal in government. I would say that the executive branch of the government today is tops in honesty and compares with any government in the world. Now, the Congress is not so high, although the Senate is good. The House of Representatives could stand some improvement. Of course, it's a bigger body.
Where do you get most of the information that you are able to come up with that actually turns out to be worth something?
Well, it usually comes from somebody who gives you a tip here and there, or from watching a certain congressman. If you see that a congressman is voting against his own district all the time, the way the people want him to vote, then you know that somebody must be paying him. And you wonder why, and you try to track it down. That's a sure sign. But I can't give you any very definite formula. It's kind of hit and miss.
For 20 years now, the wall has been something of a psychological as well as a physical barrier to the mostly Negro community in the Como area. Grady Helm of the CRC says something may now be about to be done about the wall. Mr. Helm, what does the CRC hope to do? Through the efforts of the CRC and people like Grady Helm, perhaps at last the white man will listen to the Negro's psychological problems as well as the physical ones. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.